I'm working on ATCs for Diane here on YouTube, SpareMarbles here on YouTube. And I'll post a link down to her video in case anybody wants to participate in this ATC thing she's got going on. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this, I have one of the Impression Obsession cover card stamps right here. It is the Damask, and I have some of my adhesive out for gold leafing, and I'm just going to squeeze some out here on my mat. Actually, I'm going to need a lot. And I'm going to take a foam brush, and I am just going to paint over this. And I'm going to do 3 sets of 4 that I'm going to send to Diane. And so I'm going to cut ATC cards out of this. I'm going to do a bunch of them and then cut them all out. That way I don't have to work on individual ones. Okay, and then I'm going to do that one more time. And then I'm really going to need to cut the video off here while this gets tacky so that I can get this stamp underneath the faucet, because I do not want this stamp to have that adhesive get tacky on here. So, alright, so I'll wipe this up and I'll be back. I'm going to use this variegated metal leaf that I got from a Craigslist art crack dealer. And so this is what I'm going to do. Unfold it. And just start putting it down. All over. This is really crumbly. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Okay. And I probably have enough out here that I can pull some of this over. I'm using a really stiff brush. Try to lift some of that up. So I'm going to come up here, just try to hit those areas, and hopefully I'll start to see this damask print come up from where I have the gold leaf down. So just going to keep pulling more of this over here. Whoops. And it is messy. Alright, so I'm going to finish this up, clean it up, and then be back with my next step. Okay. I forgot to mention, this is on 140-pound watercolor paper, but look at that. Beautiful. I love the way that turned out. It's pretty just on its own. But wait, I'm not done. So the reason why I did this is because I wanted to use this metallic leaf as a resist with watercolors. So I have a couple of palettes out. I have the Twinks, and I have my very expensive small set of Sennelier watercolors. It's too expensive. I can't afford the really big palette of colors. So anyway, I have this small palette. I wanted to use just a flat color because this already has so much sparkle in it. But the problem is that I don't have a very big color palette here. And yeah, I could mix colors to get different colors, but I'm not that versed yet. I'm still learning my colors. So that's why I was thinking I would go ahead and use the Twinks. But now I'm like thinking, no, I really do think that's going to be too much shine. Shine, shine, shine. So as boring as this palette is here, I'm going to use it. And I need my watercolor brush here. And I'm just going to dip my brush. I should have wet these down before I hit the record button. But of course, I didn't think about it. Because I didn't know which ones I was going to use. But I'm thinking I'm going to use the blue and the yellow. And mix that on here. Let's just see what we get. Okay, let me get back in frame. So I'm going to start with my lighter color first. And yeah, see, that's resisting. Resisting the metallic leaf. I love that look. So I am just going to go around here and smush some of these colors around. Not some of, just two of these. I'm just going to stick with the blue and the yellow. And after it dries, I'll be back. Okay, so I got all these cut, and this is what they look like. Very pretty. I love the way these turned out. Gorgeous. All that painty goodness in the middle of that gold leafing. Okay, so, and I did cut these out with my alterations die. It's the Tim Holtz Alterations ATC in corners. And yeah, I could have cut these myself, but if you watch my videos, I think you know I'm a lazy crafter, so anything that makes my job easier. Okay, and I'm going to take this Flourish stamp that I have from an old set of Stampin' Up! Stamps that, again, I got from Craigslist. Stitch Exotics. And it's this little Flourish stamp. And I have my black dauber that's probably not going to come out. The paint's not going to come out anymore because the cap is all icky. Okay, well, that was my idea. I guess I'm going to need to get a... Okay, I'm going to use this. Alright, so I have this. I'm just going to tip it over onto this little dauber here. I don't know why I'm doing that. Make my job easier. Ugh. Way too much. Way too much. And I'm just going to come in on a couple of the corners here. I didn't do a very good job there, but you get the gist. So I'm just adding a pop of black in there. And I'm going to do that on all these cards, and then I'll be back. Okay, so what I've done now because I'm going to be putting some embellishments on the top of these cards, I went ahead and stamped them with my, I have a Paper Artsy ATC stamp. And so I went ahead and just stamped all the back on the back of all these, because this set, there's 5 of them. So I'm going to have, you know, 1 of 5, 2 of 5, that sort of, you know, numbering sequence on each of my sets. So now, and I did that with a jelly roll, the Stardust jelly roll. And I don't think it has a color on here, but it's like a gray color. And what I did is, on the front of these, I am going to take one of these Butterbee scraps, metal embellishment frames, whatever you want to call it here. They come, it's a cabochon frame. And I also got the little clear cabochons from her store as well. And I cut out with my with my Spellbinders die. I have the little circles one. I have this Prima Sunrise Sunset paper that I thought went well with this, you know, painting that I did here. So I used that and used the same jelly roll to write in the word brave right there. And so what I'm going to do is take some glossy accents and yeah, sure I am. Let me get my little pen in here. Ugh. I'm almost at the bottom of this bottle, and I've been able to keep the glue from drying at the tip until I've gotten toward the end of this, and now it's clogging up on me again. Okay, so I'm just going to take some of that and stick my sentiment in here. And then what I'm going to do is take a little bit more glossy accents around the edge there. And my cabochon. And I'm sorry, I have to keep doing this off frame because I got to be able to see. And so it's cloudy right now, but I like these little cabochons because it magnifies the word underneath. So when that dries, that'll dry clear, so that cloudiness will go away. And then I'm going to use glossy accents to also adhere it to the card. So I'm going to stick a little dab here, or a big dab here, and pop it right down there in the center. And now all I have to do is wait for that to dry, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to do anything else or if this is going to be it on the ATC. So I don't know if I want to put another sentiment down here or not. I may also edge this with some more color, but I will figure that out once this has dried. I'll be back with the next set. Hey, okay, so I decided not to record my process for doing this second set because it was taking me too long to figure out what I wanted to do, and it involved stitching with my sewing machine and a lot of steps that was just like, okay, this is going to be too time consuming. I'll just do them and then talk about what I did afterwards. So going back up to this first set, what I wound up doing is I did take some of the little tiny alpha stickers from the Tim Holtz little stack and put that word B, because Be Brave is the name of this, yeah. ATC! And the only other thing that I did is I did go around with Vintage Photo Distress Ink And I did edge all the, you know, all the sides of my cards. So that's been inked up, and I put the little sticker on, and then I decided to finish it off with a little butterfly as well. It just looked kind of, I don't know, like something's missing from that corner, so I decided to just put little butterflies on it. And these are dimensional butterfly stickers, so anyway, that finished that. And then I decided for this second set, I was going to use this wallflower paper pad from Tim Holtz that I haven't even used yet. So I took the ATC cards from the very back, and they're not actually true ATC size. They're actually bigger than what a true ATC size is, because this is true ATC size. So these are a little bit bigger. But I was like, okay. Is there really going to be anybody measuring this? Because it's going as cards to patients. So anyway, I was like, all right, I need to work on a bigger size work surface. I really am having it's challenging for me to work in small. So anyway, so that's what I did. I knew I wanted to use this Donna Downey stamp. This says, strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you once thought you couldn't. I thought that was, you know, kind of a perfect little saying for cancer patients. So I knew I wanted to use that. So I stamped it with the Timber Brown Stays On onto just a natural colored cotton muslin. And then I used my rotary cutter just to, you know, trim around it. And then I backed it with some cheesecloth that I had sprayed with the Lindy stamp, and I don't remember the color. I just grabbed one that I thought went with this set. And then I took it to my sewing machine, and here, let me just take this first one. And then I took it to my sewing machine, and then I did just stitch all the way around it. And after that, pretty much the card itself was, you know, so pretty on its own. So I really didn't have to do too much to it. I did stamp the back of these as well. This is double-sided cardstock, so each back side has a really pretty, you know, pattern on it. And I did put my stamp on it, even over the stitching that I had done here. So, and on this one, I just happened to put a little crown because this little bird was sitting there where I could do something to its head. So I took a grunge board crown and painted it black, and then while it was still wet I threw some embossing powder on it just to give it a little bit more texture to it. And then I took an eyelet and set these small eyelets in each of the corners so that I could do a garment pin, and it's not hanging right, so that I could do like a garment pin dangle. So I have just some small little seed beads and bird charm hanging off this garment pin, and I did that to each of my cards here. So they're identical except for the pattern paper, and this is the only one that I used like a grunge paper embellishment, but all the rest of them are pretty much the same. So they have like just tiny seed beads that kind of color coordinate, and then like a different kind of you know, bird charm hanging off the side there. So these are ready to go out to dye, and yeah, one project down, about 30 more to go. I'll see you guys later.